This video is about writing the names and formulas of acids. And so we're going to start with HNO3. This has an H stuck to a polyatomic ion. When you have H stuck to a polyatomic ion or to most nonmetals, that's an acid. Acid naming rules are a little more complex because there's 3 different paths you can follow. If you have H stuck to a halogen or cyanide, so if there's no oxygen in the acid, then you would name it using the prefix hydro, the root of the acid name, then you stick ic on the end, and then write acid. For example, hydrochloric acid. If it's H stuck to a polyatomic ion that ends in ite, then you would change the ending of that polyatomic ion to us, and then write acid. If you have H stuck to a polyatomic ion that ends in ate, you would change the ending to ic, then write acid. So the first thing to do is figure out which path are you going to follow, hydroic, us, or ic. Okay, so we've got NO3 stuck to H. Well, NO3 is the polyatomic ion nitrate. That ends in ate, so we're going to use this path right here. So we're going to take nitrate and change that ending to ic. So that's going to be nitric, and then write acid. The name of this is nitric acid. It's not hydronitric acid, not nitrous acid, nitric acid, because nitrate gets changed to nitric and then add acid. Let's look at another question. This one says select the formula of this compound, carbonic acid. So we're going to need to figure out, is this a halogen, a polyatomic ion that ends in ite, or a polyatomic ion that ends in ate? Well, there's no hydro, so it's not a halogen. The ending of this is ic, so that means that polyatomic ion will be ate. So carbon, ic, is going to be carbonate. So this is going to be carbonate. Carbonate is the polyatomic ion CO3 2-. To write the formula of carbonic acid, we're going to take carbonate and stick it to a hydrogen. Now this is an ion here, so we're going to want to swap, drop, ignore. Hydrogen's charge is H+ when it's an ion. To swap, drop, ignore, we'll take this 2, drag it down to the bottom of H. There's no number here to add to CO3, so it's going to look like this. H2CO3. And that's carbonic acid. Last one is hydrobromic acid. So we need to figure out if this is a halogen, polyatomic ion that ends in ite, or polyatomic ion that ends in ate. This has hydro, ic. Because it has hydro on the front, that means it's going to be that halogen. Even though it ends in ic, that does not mean that it's going to be a polyatomic ion that ends in ate, because it's got this hydro up here. So this is saying hydrobromic acid means it's bromine attached to an H to make it an acid. So hydrobromic, we're going to take Br, and H. We're going to swap, drop, ignore with these guys. H is a plus, Br is a minus. So that's HBr. So the formula of hydrobromic acid is HBr.